Hello and welcome to this little friendly reminder video, I guess is kind of what I'm calling it. This will be under my light and shadow work kind of category of videos. My name is Allie with A. Marie Speaks. Thank you so much for watching and checking out my channel. This is going out on August 12th, 2024, and I am making this sort of reminder, both for myself and anyone and everyone interested, mainly because the energies are so amplified. This last couple of months has been really intense. Summer has been super fiery here, especially in America. And I'm just kicking off this sort of new project to end summer with a bang, with this 5x5 live meditations for 5 minutes. 5 times a day, 5 times a week, for 3 weeks, the last kind of weeks of August here. And I wanted to honor the intense energy and the sort of momentum that I'm bringing forth and that I'm carrying with me and feeling. And, there's a lot of, it's just pulsating throughout the collective and throughout the whole playscape and the energies of everything here, everyone and all the different little reality worlds and bubbles of communities and stuff all over the world, collectively and globally, right? We see this sort of manyness, many different varieties and layers of exchange. And all of them are having these sort of catalytic disruptions right now. Truth is everywhere, right? So to be honest and mindful in that, I want to remember and remind myself and others about grounding, about the digging in, about moderation, temperance, the long patience that comes with steady progress over time, cyclic ascension, things that evolve by layers, unpeeling, sort of, right, in an infinite growth of manyness, and how large that is, and how we deal with that as a single entity, as the individual, right? As we're individuating out of the collective, we're recognizing ourselves, our purpose, our worth. It takes us to look at the collective as well as comparison, which leads to a lot of, there's a spectrum of light and shadow work available when you start to do that. We have to do it consciously and from the heart center and from a place of unconditional love, worth, and sovereignty, which is what so many of my videos on my channel has been built on over the last 2 years, and my life has been built on in the last 10 years even. My writing and stuff like that before I even had a channel, I used to do just a lot of writing. But anyways, point being that with all of this sort of excitement and newness in these new projects, I want to make sure that I am expressing enough, with enough clarity, the underbelly of it, the underside, the rest, the reverse of action, right? The drawing in, the private time, the isolation and shutting down that is always a part of my life and part of my cycles. And I want to encourage and make sure that others recognize and take into account and hold that side in accountability, in honorability, and as a great friendship with yourself. And not hiding from it or skirting around it. A lot of times when we get into these sort of self-help, I want my best self, ascension, higher self, all this sort of light talk and jargon, especially in the New Age sort of conscious collective, there is a presentation that it's all light, and that all of a sudden, like, you become this sort of warrior, and then you bash out darkness, and there's no more dark. And if you have dark or bad thoughts, or bad things happen in your life, or unexpected things, or things you don't want or like happen, that you're bad, or it's not working, or you're not good enough, or you haven't ascended, or your frequencies aren't aligned and beautiful. And I just don't really believe in that. I don't think that's a whole picture. I find that very much a segmented perception, and a lot of shadow is involved in that. Like I said, I talk a lot about shadow and how we bend our light and why, and also about how the negative agenda bends our light and theirs on purpose to create shadow shows to be seen and have their lies interpreted in the ways that they want to, so that they can manipulate and create control over the scene that they're involved in. If that kind of stuff interests you and you haven't heard that stuff on my channel, check out my Negative Agendas playlist. That might be a BitChute only, but there is some videos on that on my Spiritual Discernment playlist, definitely on YouTube, if you don't use BitChute. I'll put a BitChute link just in case you've never heard of that platform but you're interested. It's free. It's a little bit less censored than YouTube. I talk about things that are a little bit more, or I use terms and words that are a little more direct that YouTube would probably have me flagged for. So yeah, I'll put a link to that playlist in case you're interested in that angle and learning to break free of mind control of the Matrix and stuff like that. Don't talk too much about that anymore. That's more of a series I did a year or two ago. I forget how long now. But it's so prevalent and it's important. It's just that it's not an important focus of our attention and intention. Our energies and collective focus and our individual focus needs to be on the self, betterment, doing the shadow work, offering the shadow service, not enabling it and feeding into it and playing at its little puppet show, but instead going with full light there and saying, no, we're not having a puppet show anymore. This is a waste of time. The whole building's on fire. Like, let's get out of here. What do you need to get your puppet show out? Let's get your sticks and all your things. We see all of them, right? We know what they are. They're fake illusions and lies, constructions that you've made to keep an audience here, to keep payment and attention on your show, to make your magic belief that it's real. It's not, and the whole thing's on fire. Let's get out, right? That's happening on every level. Like I talked about at the start of the video, we have all these bubbles and layers of reality. We're the same kind of collective versions of lessons, choices, and the sort of splitting that we're seeing, right? But it's playing out in these different layers and levels in different communities and societies in different ways. But it's all the same thing, right? It's all lies versus truth and light versus shadow. And when we know that, we know and understand systems, right? And we want to seek truth and betterment for ourselves, it becomes plain and obvious and common sense as to what truth is and how to align with yours, how to do what feels good for you. And that's why this heightened energy and time for me has been so intense, but I'm able to keep running with it. I feel like a marathon runner who's been training for a long time, who can easily run a 5K and not get tired, versus some other people who I'm seeing and with compassion in my heart, you know, I'm jogging next to them, like saying, oh yeah, you'll get there, don't worry. Jogging is definitely one day you'll be easy, you know, but they are really learning and having to take breaks and walk. And, you know, I'm not jogging circles around them laughing in their face, and we shouldn't be. There's lots of people who can do that, you know. But what I'm trying to offer here is, oh yeah, rest. I could use a rest too. Even though I'm a long-time jogger, I walk with you because I can learn something from taking a moment and walking. Even though I could jog or I could sprint if I wanted to the whole rest of the way. But I'm not going to. I'm going to sit here and walk with you and learn from you for a moment as what your journey's brought you here to, and how walking feels to you. And you know, jog with you when you're ready to a little bit, and to get back to that beginner sort of mindset. This is what cycling, balance, alchemy becomes after time. But you have to give yourself the time, and you have to be where you're at now. And I'm not saying that I'm a sprinter in every level either. There's categories of my life where, you know, I'm walking painfully, where I have to, you know, stop and rub my feet all the time and sit down and take breaks. And I have to humbly accept that. And I like to say, eat a slice of humble pie, you know, and sit down for a minute and just say, this is where I'm at, it's me. You know, but there is many different avenues we play in life, many different characters, roles, and the settings that we have available to us. And learning that that's cyclic, just like teach learning, I like to say, and that's from the Law of One. I love that teach learning cycle. That has brought such huge working into understanding the breakdown of systems for me. just like light and shadow work, it's cyclic. It's not this thing back and forth. It's not light trying to bash out shadow. No, it's trying to serve the shadow, to get the shadow to tell it what it needs so that it can flow like the yin yang sign, right? It's give and take, energy alchemy. And there's many versions of shadow and light work that come into play, right? Just like we're involved in many different versions of sort of roles of life, and we have many versions of ourselves. So incorporating and giving yourself plenty of time to roll with the cycles and to be where you're at in the moment and in the day is truly what I just want to give a friendly reminder about and to encourage everybody to do. And if you're feeling, however you're feeling, to address it, to not skirt around things and to not kind of just like enable or excuse away or save for later. You know, just address as best as you can, even if it's just a tiny commitment to do later. It's just an honest assessment that, yeah, that is what it is and I need to get to it later. Right now I'm super tired, but yes, I'm going to later. And then to actually come back later. That's it. That's all it takes. And doing those little bits every day. Allowing yourself to. So as we go through the end of the summer here, and as I'm working through mine, you know, this is what I'm going to be encouraging. And I wanted to just kind of, in case anybody's new or finding me through 5 on 5 Lives now, or new subscribers and you haven't seen sort of my older work with my light and shadow work playlists, where I give a lot of different visuals and sort of alchemy techniques to go on journeys within yourself and do some shadow work. There's tons of videos on there. I'll leave some links below. I also have audios, and my podcast got canceled off Spotify somehow, so those are lost. But I still have a ton of blogs on that, and I have I have a couple of video versions over on my YouTube podcasts playlist, centered around the energy alchemy, the tower model, and how you can get into your own self through visualization, through meditation, creating these sort of energy centers, literal centers of being, though, centers of the tower, seeing it as a whole ancient architecture where actually there is rooms, just like a physical home, just like a physical tower. There's space and rooms, there's furniture, there's decorations, there's entities and archetypes and beings and characters of your consciousness, or losing light, that reside within each of those floors, and that they do have a harmonic guidance based on the chakras through the 7 centers, but you can make each one your own. And I have a little bit of guidance, and I'm working on a new workbook on those, so that will be to come later, probably in the fall. I'll have a workbook done on that, similar to my numerology one. But there's videos and meditations on the Energy Center, and I have a bunch of infographics on Telegram, too. You can go on Telegram, and there's search. I don't know if anybody uses that, but there's a little search button on my channel. Same thing on my website has search, too, if you're interested and you are on E. Marie Speaks. Free tips and everything are over there, third-party resources, my own stuff, everything. And there's search right on my side of the website on any page, and you can type in anything, metaphysics, you can type in tower, energetic tower, and get the infographics and stuff. Same thing on Telegram. The last thing I'll mention is, of course, the Energetic System series. If you're not new to my channel, then that's the last series I've just been closing out, and that's all about the systems of you, and that has been unbelievably life-changing. The downloads and information that I've received about systems, and I'm still working through that. Course book to come. That's my new mantra, right? I don't even care. Freely offered, of course, because they're offered freely by source. This is information that I am downloading, translating, and offering out, through my own sort of integration and biases and knowledge base. I'll offer it, of course, but it's not, I don't claim, rights to the information. But anyways, there's like 60 videos about that already, understanding the creation of the system of you, your toroidal, how the torus is 3 parts, which is just the 3 we see everywhere, mind, body, and spirit. It's the triad of creation. It's all truths, and it's nothing new. It's all basic common information, especially if you're interested or already knowledgeable with anything esoteric or sacred geometries, numerology, or basic systems knowledge. It's energetics and all that kind of stuff. How systems exchange polarity and all that kind of stuff. But to see it from this lens of breaking the torus into 3 parts and understanding that each 3 of the parts in itself is a working system, and that it's doing balancing work, it's doing processes, and that we could look at them and say that what kind of balance are they seeking, and know that each of those processes, mind, body, and spirit, or we could say inner, outer, and the transitional flow between them, right? All of those reflect each 3 within them. And when we look at those systems from an angle of positive and negative alchemy balancing, right? That's what all their processes are serving that purpose. It brings in a depth of understanding to yourself for me, and for others, lots of others who I've spoke with, who enjoy the content, have gotten great work from it. So if you're interested in that, you could check out this Energetic System Series playlist. I'll put a link to that. And tons of meditations go along with that too. I don't just do some discussions and talk through videos. I have some infographic ones where I show great visuals, and then I have meditations and some sort of homework practices to get into it and get you into learning your own bosses and meeting the systems within you and learning how to balance your systems. I'm going to leave it there. I went a little longer than I wanted to. I wanted to do under 15 minutes. But thank you so much for joining me, for watching this video. I mean, now I'm on like a joining me tag phrase. Sorry about that. But yeah, thanks for joining me anyways and giving your attention and time to this video and to yourself, honestly, because that's where the work lies at, and that's what the intention of this whole video is, service to beautiful self. In ownership, in great sovereign remembrance and honorability that the self is a reflection of the whole. The self is a reflection of beautiful source and of all others. And the great other, of course. The ether that sits around us, infinite intelligence that sort of coordinate the whole thing. So thank you for your contribution to our collective. As always, I hope you have a beautiful day or evening wherever in the world you are. I'll catch you next time.